Star Wars, The Acolyte introduces the ideal replacements for Rey and Kylo Ren, 9 years after their introduction in Star Wars, The Force Awakens. The Star Wars sequel trilogy revolved around the heated, dramatic relationship between Rey and Kylo Ren. Though the movies didn't fully disclose how significant their link was until Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, their inherent power and kinship played a critical role in the galaxy, not just in the conflict between the First Order and the Resistance, but also within the Force itself. As revealed in The Rise of Skywalker, Rey and Kylo Ren were two sides of a Force Dyad, a highly unusual event in the Force. Thanks to this connection, they were able to communicate directly with the Force, heal themselves and others, and do a variety of other things. Unfortunately, there was never enough time to adequately explore their friendship in the subsequent trilogy, as Ben Solo died before they could completely come to know each other. However, Star Wars' most recent episode, The Acolyte, has now provided another way for the brand to explore this aspect of the Star Wars canon. The Acolyte hints Asha and May are a Force Dyad. Amandla Stenberg's characters, Osha and May, strongly suggest that they are Force Dyads in the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte. Asha and May are identical twins who, when they were younger, witnessed the destruction of their entire village, leaving them as the only 2 survivors, although neither realized the other survived until years later during the events of The Acolyte. While Asha was taken to the Jedi Order and trained as a Padawan before electing to leave, May was most likely picked up by a Sith master, trained as an Acolyte, and assigned to target and murder certain Jedi. In both of the Acolyte's early episodes, Asha has visions of and chats with a younger version of May. These moments are remarkably similar to those in Star Wars, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, in which Rey and Kylo Ren can see, speak to, and even touch each other in their own surroundings while being on completely different planets. Though the Acolyte has not confirmed it, these parallels cannot be coincidences. May and Asha's link as twins and Force users increases the likelihood of them becoming Force Dyad. Star Wars lore hints that all Dyads require both light and dark. Little is known about Force Dyads, but canon tie-in publications such as Charles Soule's comic series Star Wars, The Rise of Kylo Ren, have offered some illumination. Above all, it seems that Force Dyads rely on both the light and the dark. Dyad, a force, symbolizes an equitable balance. The rise of Kylo Ren indicates that the Force Dyad bond only formed after Ben Solo turned to the dark side, suggesting that the Force intended them to find that balance together. This also applies to Asha and May. Before May killed her first Jedi, Asha had no idea her sister was still alive. Asha's first vision of May came following the death of Master Indara, Carrie-Anne Moss. If May's murder of Master Indara marked the beginning of her descent into the dark side, it would explain why Asha was unable to detect her until then. Asha represents light, May represents darkness, and the Force reunited them when necessary, just as it did with Rey and Kylo. For a Force Dyad, the sister dynamic works much better. Though Rey and Kylo Ren's Force Dyad link was unquestionably powerful, their lives had been completely apart before the Force brought them together. There is no history. Prior to their meeting, there was no sense of loyalty, love, or friendship. Their friendship progressed from violence and anger to something more. Despite the captivating storytelling and intriguing character development, they remained essentially undeveloped. The story could shape their connection exactly how it needed to. May and Asha's relationship is far more convoluted. They already share an unbreakable relationship as sisters, specifically twins. They already have a past, albeit a violent one, but it's evident that they still feel profoundly about each other. Seeing her sister in person truly startled and moved May, and when Asha had the chance to stun her, it seemed like she purposefully missed the shot. As twins, it makes sense for the Force to bind them together indefinitely as a dyad. Despite Leia's limited experience with the Force, their connection reveals that she can sense Luke's distress or heightened emotions. The same is likely true for Asha and May. If they do form a Force Dyad, it will be fascinating to watch how this impacts their connection to the Force, how May's darkness influences Osha, and vice versa. The Force Dyad may explain why the Sith are so interested in May. One question that the Acolyte has yet to uncover is how and why May became a Sith Acolyte and worked for a Sith Lord. If they suspected she was a member of a Force Dyad or simply believed that the potential for that power existed, it stands to reason that the Sith would go to any length to control it. Palpatine was obviously interested in Rey and Kylo's relationship in the rise of Skywalker. The exact nature of a Force Dyad remains unknown, despite claims that its strength surpasses that of life itself. This makes sense, given that Rey and Kylo were able to cure each other repeatedly, and Kylo was even able to sacrifice his life to resurrect Rey, effectively defeating death. The Sith have always sought more power, studying the Force to find anything that will offer them more control.